The rental market is now starting to crash. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome to the show. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, let me politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought. Hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It's very important to stay close to the channel in these very, very tricky times. All right, friends, welcome to the channel. Always an honor and a privilege to be with you. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up and strap in. We got another hard-hitting, pull no punches, no sugarcoating, no rainbows, no sunshine. We're just going to give it to you straight video. This thing is red alert. I even turned on the red backlight to drive our point home. Today, we're going to look at a property trouble, massive trouble, the byproduct of a housing bubble. Anybody telling you no crash risk here? This time is different. It's a great time to buy. Not only wants to sell you a house, they need to sell you a house because they drank the economic Kool-Aid themselves. And as a licensed real estate agent helping many of you all across the country as we speak, let me just tell you, sales meetings, we're not training people how to get you to buy later. They want to get you to buy now with stupid slogans like date the rate and marry the house. Okay. So buy in the height of a bubble and then roll the dice with my financial future and get underneath staggering amounts of debt. No, thank you. Well, friends, we all saw what happened to the rental market. It got red hot too, didn't it? Kool-Aid drinkers, retail and institutional investors piled in Airbnb, long-term, short-term rentals, you name it. The Kool-Aid drinking was astronomical. They gambled, they bet, and the house always wins. It became a casino climate, a roll of the dice. We wanted this somehow to be real, to be true, to somehow think that this time was in fact different. The only thing that's different now, my friends, this time is worse. A bigger bubble that grew faster and bigger than previous bubbles that collapsed the housing market and ultimately the U.S. economy and had global financial institution ripple effects. Whew, I'm having a hard time containing myself with this one. I get really, I get very excited when it comes to real estate. I want you guys to win in real estate. Somebody that's going to put your needs before their own. That's what, it's hard. I was just talking to one of you, a subscriber, who we're going to help. And they're like, man, I just, I've never seen anybody like you, man. Like if I'm going to give anybody your business, I want it to be you. Listen, friends, no such thing as a perfect real estate agent. I have the access to the highest rated agents in your area. This is true. I will be part of your transaction. This is true, but nobody is perfect. But you've learned a lot by watching these videos because millions of people have no idea what's about to take place. Unless you're one of the people that bought the way we're going to show you today. And boy, like I've always said, throw a dart at a map of the U.S. I could pull properties like this all day. I could make this whole channel dedicated to properties doing this. There'll be a scary byproduct produced, so stay tuned to the end of the show. I'm going to reveal some of the things you can do to protect yourself, especially if you're a renter or you know somebody that's a renter, it's your kids or somebody. And listen, for whatever it's worth, friends, I've always said, it's not as important to own where you live. It's just important to own. I'd rather see you stack up investment properties and be a renter for life. Just handle all your money-making investment deals. But if you're going to be buying your primary home and that's all you're interested in, I will help you there too because we'll check to see what's our cost to carry, today's interest rate versus its rent range. If those two numbers pencil out, maybe we test it with an offer. But today, to drive our point home, let's jump over to a part of the country that got a little too euphoric. What area didn't really get euphoric, really? I know some areas managed to flatline, but there's more areas that got euphoric in this real estate bubble than previous real estate bubbles. This thing's got crash risk written all over it. It's now becomes which areas get hit hardest, quickest, rebound faster. There's going to be a lot of schematics to sift through to really understand how to navigate the waters we're swimming in now. Hopefully this channel is going to help you do that. But without further ado, because this is mainly the real estate channel, let's jump over to some real estate, take a look at what's going on to an investor that bought in the crisis, in the bubble, and now is in trouble. Let's jump over there, then we'll meet back here, wrap this one up. Let's get started. All right, friends, buckle up and strap in. Roll up your windows, lock your doors. We're heading into Palm Beach, Florida, but it's not all rainbows and sunshine, especially if you're an investor that bought in the biggest bubble ever produced in world history. Now let's bring up our rental crash map, courtesy of our good friends over at Zillow. Everything on your screen going through the rental kiss of death, stuck on market for at least 90 days with no renter. Okay, let's go ahead and tour today's featured property, a single family home in Palm Beach, Florida, going through the kiss of death as it's stuck on market, but also sucking air, unoccupied, no tenant. Our owner is in massive trouble as they're making a payment on a property that's bringing in no income. Let's read between the lines and look between the cracks. Our property description. What do we have here? Just some information about the property? No, no, no. I see more. First of all, a novel, a mile-long description in all caps. That's never good. That shows me you're desperate. But wait, it gets better or worse depending on how you look at it. This property lists as first month rent and security deposit. No last month needed. Well, in most states, you can't collect all three. You can either go with first and last or first and security. Let's read a little more. If you actually want to rent this place, I hope you brought your attorney along. It looks like you have to jump through a massive amount of hoops and documentation just to get your application reviewed. After the listing being removed several times and price reductions throughout, it currently sits stuck on the market for $2,950 a month with zero takers, zero prospects, but a lot of trouble. Let's get back to the studio so we can wrap this one up. All right, friends, welcome back. So there you go. That's what's going on in Florida. And listen, throw a dart at a map, Frisco, New York, California. I could go on and on and on. Almost every metro in America is displaying that type of behavior. People poured into these markets with the casino climate, and they had projected returns on investment, projected rents, and they saw them accelerating, not decelerating. They got investors involved and said, hey, right now, right out of the gate, we should be able to get this type of return on investment. And based on national average and annual averages, we should be going up at this rate. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Go ahead and just send that money to our escrow account. We'll get you involved with the investment. Blah, 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 blah. Which reminds me, I just saw Amazon's trying to do something now where you can be a landlord for $100. No, you can't. You can't. They're going to take your money. You're not going to own much of anything. But we'll talk. We might. That's a separate video we might look into later to see if there's any legitimacy or financial gain or stability or safety there. My guess, probably not. We'll have to wait and see. But the realities are this, my friends. The rental market is a forward indicator of what? The sales, the resale market. And what we're seeing, the only thing holding up the real estate bubble at this point is lack of what? You guessed it, inventory. About half of what we would normally have and what would be constituted as even a normal market. As soon as we accelerate income past that and we're inventory saturated, what do prices do? Keep going up? No, they go down. So when you see rentals, this one's in big trouble. And did you see the way they made it almost like going through a FBI check to even, turn in an application? You just weeded out a bunch of people and you're chasing the market. You're chasing the market. You're chasing the market. You didn't take Scott Walters' advice and find out who your competition is and beat them. If I'm helping you rent your investment property that I'm going to help you buy, hopefully, I'm going to say, listen, we need to find out who our competition is and beat them. I want everybody in town that's renting in this price range that's currently looking over at my property, your property. And then I'm going to hand pick a great tenant for you. And I'm going to make them do a DNA test to pull it off. No, I'm just going to examine references, cash reserves, income, basic schematics so I don't scare them off. People are scaring people off. That's what's going on now. Plus, if this is you, you need to watch out. A lot of owners are going upside down on their purchases and their rents are doing what they're doing now. That's why, in fact, this property, I shouldn't say why, but possibly you'll see similar situations where they're like, first security and last month's rent. Or like, oh, this property, we're only asking for first month's and security, no less. Well, where I live, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be surprised if where that property is, you can't even legally collect all three. You can only go first and last or first and security. You can't do all three. They were trying to use that as a selling point. This property's got disaster written all over it. I can't sugarcoat it. This thing's got disaster written all over it. So if you're a renter and you see a price that's too good to be true, make sure you examine the health and the fitness of the owner. They might be in a free fall trying to just get one more money grab before they go down with the Titanic. You don't want to pay a bunch of money, move into a house, and then understand you're about to get rug pulled too and have to leave because the owner's behind on payments. Got to be careful. Look at the purchase history. You can learn a lot just by when they purchased the house. If you can see they owned it for 20 years, they're probably good to go. If they bought in the height of the bubble, you might want to be careful. Also, last but not least today, if you're a renter out there and you're getting rug pulled or price gouged or whatever the case may be, I get calls like that all the time. Hey, Scott, our landlord wants to sell. We need a new rental, and there's not much out there. It sucks. It's horrible, but it's getting better. We're looking at it get better. I showed you a property today where clearly rent rates are softening and inventory is coming, which also I was about to say, as soon as this inventory enters the market, we're going to see a massive change in narratives. Mainstream media is going to be all over this thing. Bailouts will be issued, everything, life support, everything will be thrown at the housing market, but it won't save it. It can't save it. It's too big. It is too big to save, my friends. Too big to save. If you're renting a property, and you getting rug pulled by your landlord, and you get in front of somebody, a manager or a landlord, you don't want to come to them with any life stories, no hard luck stories. They don't care about that. All I want to hear from you is I'm easy on properties, hardly ever home, and I can handle the payment, and I got cash reserves. In fact, I can even throw you a couple extra months rent up front if you'd like. Now, be careful. You don't want to do that if the owner's in trouble. We got to make sure that's the case. Also, always get your tenant overview letter or a rental resume. Just hand this to them right out of the gate before you even hand in an application. If somebody hands me one of these, I'm like, wow, what's this? A tenant overview letter. Wow, good rent history, cash reserves, income, references, everything I need right here at a quick glance. This is what you need to stand out from other applicants. If they're going to beat you on paper, you've got to beat them with presenting well, selling yourself, no life stories. No hard luck stories. Maybe a tenant overview letter that's just a little eye candy, a little clickbait for the landlord. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator. Somebody wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understand, friends, the biggest artificially created housing bubble ever produced in world history was zero organic growth, might not sustain itself. Investors piled into this bubble drunk on the Kool-Aid. They're in massive trouble. I showed you a property today. It's exhibiting crash behavior in the rental market. Take your pick. The only thing left holding up this market is inventory. Eventually, we will get it. If we continue to see properties like the one I looked at today with you, we're going to see it probably sooner than later. And I'll be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way. Because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It'd be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, I know you're going to love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count, and I'll see you on the next video.